from the DRC, Patrice Lumumba. You know, I always say I had a Catholic priest when I was a young boy who was Irish, and he said, "What is this thing called Patrice? There's no Patrice in South Africa. You should be called Patrick." So I went to my father. I said, "No, I'm tired now." My father said, "If I wanted to call you Patrick, I would have called you Patrick. But the last time I checked, Lumumba was Patrice." So start with Patrice. So what I'm saying is that I'll be getting a report because this matter is being investigated. But at the end of the day, one of the most important things for us, I always feel proud when I see that FIFA logo. Football unites. Football unites people. Football brings people together. And that's why from a CAF perspective, we've emphasized over and over again, football is an important tool to bring people and Africans together. And also not just to bring people on the continent together, but also Africa and Europe, Africa and the rest of the world. So I'm confident that those issues, whatever problems, you see, he heard me speak, that's why he came in now. Moise, they were asking this important question about TP Mazembe. And I was bragging about the fact that you made history with TP Mazembe, Moise, by taking TP Mazembe to the highest level an African football club could ever go. Semi-finals of the FIFA Club World Cup. And your duty and the duty of all of the other club presidents is to go further because you've made history. So to go from semi-finals in the World Cup to the final, Moise, and to bring that cup to DRC. So I was just concluding as you came in to say that the question was asked about the problems that your team has been experiencing and Esperance and the issues that we are very clear that our partnership with governments, the governments have to cooperate. And I can proudly say that, you know, you are here. You are not just my friend, you are my brother. And I can say the same thing about President Tshisekedi. He's not just, he's my brother. We all have to work together and make sure that the good work that you are doing and that TP Mazembe is doing, as well as Esperance, that we succeed. Let's clap hands for Arsene Wenger, please. And the reason why I said we must clap hands is because of what I said when he wasn't here. Arsene is doing, before you arrived, Arsene, I was saying that you are doing exceptional work with this talent identification. And what I like as well about the talent identification is it goes hand in hand with education, because the work that you are doing will have amongst the greatest contribution to making sure that African club football and national football is world class. Anyway, good to see you and good to see Moise. Next question.
Thank you, President. We go to the back, maybe. Yeah. If you can give the gentleman just behind you. There we go.
Habari za mchana, mabibi na mabwana. Jina langu ni Abdul Jalil Mohamed.
Okay, what is, you must listen now.
Jina langu ni Abdul Jalil Mohamed Salum kutokea shirika la utangazaji Zanzibar. Swali langu kwa rais wa CAF ni kwa ni yapi mawazo yako ya watu ambao wanafikiri Africa Football League itakwenda kuiua CAF Confederation Cup na CAF Champions League?
What is your opinion about the African Football League? Most of the people think that it is going to kill Confederation and Champions League.
Good question. As I said earlier, the African Football League is going to significantly uplift and improve, because Moise, one of the biggest problems of clubs, they participate in these CAF competitions and they lose money. They spend a hell of a lot of money, much more money than what they get. It's not sustainable. Not sustainable at all. So part of our job is to make sure that a huge prize money, and I'm excited because, you know, the discussions and the plans that have been put in place with all of the clubs. Part of the focus is we want African football clubs to be profitable. We want them to be commercially viable. So I said earlier, the African Football League is going to significantly improve the quality of the African Champions League. And of course, we will be reviewing all of the African competitions, because we can't have too many competitions. We've got to have the appropriate number of competitions that are globally competitive, right quality, huge amount of excitement amongst sponsors and spectators. So, as I said, I answered this question earlier, and I'm confident that we'll see the results of the huge magnitude and contribution of African football League to the quality of African football. Next question. I think this man is a member of the Communist Party. He goes to the left all the time.
Sorry, President.
Can you also go to the right, and give...
Sorry, go this way.
Yeah.
They didn't raise their hand before, President.
I'm saying, we want people to be in the center. Don't go too much to the right wing or the left wing. Keep them in the center. Yes.
Asante. Jina langu naitwa Jamila Kasim, natokea WRM TV na Spirit FM. Nitatoka nje kidogo ya AFL, kwa maana ya African Football League. Kwako raisi wa shirikisho la mpira wa miguu barani Afrika, bado tunakabiliwa na changamoto kubwa ya viwanja. Kama shirikisho, pengine jitihada zipi zinafanyika kwa ajili ya kuhakikisha viwanja vinaboreshwa?
Give him the mic. She spoke Swahili, eh? Swahili is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful language. Beautiful language.
She said that he's going out of this African League, but
she's going out of the African Football League?
Yes.
What do you mean?
The topic.
Oh, I thought she's going to leave the room and go out.
She said that there's a challenge of football stadium and pitches.
Yeah.
What is your initiative to make sure that this problem is sorted?
Tell a brilliant question. That's why the meeting with the president. I left South Africa at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I went straight to Dodoma to meet the president. Amazing. I met the president of Tanzania in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and we were supposed to spend 30 minutes. We spent a long time. I'm excited. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to her is about the AFCON. I mean, we've made history, and thanks to the excellent leadership that our brothers and sisters here, we've made history because we are bringing back the AFCON to East Africa after 51 years. The last time AFCON was in East Africa was 51 years. And the issue about all our competitions, whether it's the African Football League, whether it's the AFCON, whether it's the Champions League, we want stadiums that are at the level of FIFA and CAF. Quality stadium, quality pitches. As I said, Pierluigi's presence here, incredible. Quality coaches, as well as VAR. So what I wanted to engage with her today was, of course, to tell about the African Football League, but also to tell her, Madam President, history is being made in East Africa. The biggest national team competition is coming back to East Africa for the first time in 51 years. Now, it requires partnerships. Veron is going back to Côte d'Ivoire. The excitement in Côte d'Ivoire for next year, immense. Your players will be playing, carrying the flag of the DRC and various others. So we need those stadiums to be world-class. We need generators to be functioning and to be tested. We need to make sure the hospitals and the infrastructure and the pitches for training, world-class. So it's an excellent question, and I'm so happy that the president said, I just want to give you, Patrice, I just want to give you all the confidence that we're going to work together, we're going to invest, and we're going to make sure that it is amongst the very best AFCONs ever. I think stay a little bit with the right wing. Yes?
I'll just take the last question this side and maybe the last question this side, President, just because of time. Okay, we'll go to this side as well.
No,
At the back. Yeah. No. There's a gentleman from this side. There he is. his hand has been up for some time. Thank you. And then we'll finish on this side with the last question, okay?
Thank you. My name is Hussein Shafi from Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, TBC. I have two questions. One is about VAR. You talk about VAR and Tanzania League, Premier League particular, we don't have VAR, and most of African league, leagues, they don't have VAR. And you can see in a few years to come, we will host 2027 AFCON. It's very important to have VAR. Will you assist us in VAR? That's one question. Another one, we see a lot of people here, particular football prominent people. So are you proud to bring them in Tanzania?
I'm proud to have you in this room. Very proud. And I want to repeat again, to have the quality of people that are here, the FIFA president, the FIFA team, I mean, world class, to have Arsene Wenger, and also to have our brothers and sisters who are leaders of some of the top, to have Moise. Tanzania is a special country. Remember, this is the country of Mwalimu. It's a country of Julius Nyerere, and has produced some of the most outstanding Africans. And that's why, we feel so proud that, let me say this to you. We have a duty to the rest of the continent to develop and to bring focus on football and inspire the young football spectators in those countries to play and to do well. But part of our duty also is to focus on those parts of the continent that are a little bit behind. And as I said, there hasn't been an AFCON here for 51 years. So, and I mean, to have Tanzania and Uganda and Kenya coming together, it's exciting. I was saying to the president this morning, I mean, look at what football is doing. Football is making a unique contribution to the togetherness of our people and the pride of East Africans as African. And let me say this to you. The coming together of these three special countries goes beyond football. It's a coming together about our cultures, our people. And that translates into partnerships, to trade, business partnerships, investment, job creation, tourism. Am I going to help in the VR? I can tell you, in every single competition of CAF, there has to be VR. There's something called light VR, and the light VR, and I understand there are costs associated, but they're aggressively training all the time. Veron is doing excellent work, and the referees committee, aggressively training some of our referees and others who have the capacity to be VR operators, because you want to win because the referee didn't make a mistake, because referees are human. On the other hand, you also don't want to lose because of human error. So we are consistently engaging and looking at what should be done, because as a starting point, I mean, some of the biggest leagues on the continent, I mean, VR should be an essential part of how they ref the games. One quick point. Where you see players, and I see it, if you see players who come from countries where there's no VR, the moment they go into VR, some of the dangerous tackles that they got away with, where there isn't VR, I mean, the consequences are far-reaching. So, the sooner our players get used to play with VR, and they understand that you've got to be careful now. You can't go in there reckless and just be, take out the next player. Good question. Thank you. Next.
Go to the last question, and then afterwards the trophy reveal.
There's a lady there.
The lady will have the
we'll
last
finish with the lady. And if there's any other lady, we'll also finish with you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Nazareth Upete from TBC, Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation. I'm so delighted with such aims of this football league, African Football League, including the inspiration for young women generation. And whenever we're talking about that generation, I don't know how we're going to glorify this football generation, a football inheritance generation for these women that you have been talking, for young girls. And my second question is, One of the important strategies that we have been employed in spreading football in the world is including the FTA matches. I mean, free.
FTA?
Yes, I mean free-to-air matches.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was another name for the Tanzanian Football Federation.
No, it was football free-to-air
That's
matches.
right. Yeah.
So I want to know, CAF, are you thinking about having such FTAs a lot in your competition to spread football game of Africa? Maybe especially for this women teams. We know it has been in a doldrum start of these competitions, including women teams. Thank you.
Thank you. Brilliant question. I mean, I'm excited. I was telling the president this morning, in the schools, African Schools Football Championship in South Africa, I saw the young girls from Tanzania. They were the best. And they got 400,000. 400,000, Ron? Yeah. They got $400,000. Now that money is not supposed to go to having a party or having a long celebration. It goes to building football infrastructure at their schools. It also goes to building educational infrastructure. I mean, we've done this with the Motsepe Foundation in South Africa for the last 20 years, where we sponsor schools football. And when you win, you take the money to build infrastructure at the schools. And football infrastructure as well as academics, some have used the money to build, laboratories, libraries, technology centers. So the prize money there, the 400,000, is an exciting money to be used to develop the schools, the girls' schools football, the schools where the girls are. And we've also, there was no prize money for the Champions League, Women's Champions League. We've significantly increased the prize money for the Women's Champions League. This country's got talent, eh? Tanzania has got incredible talent. And I can tell you, the work that Wallace and the leadership is doing, your under 17 was in the FIFA World Cup and went to the quarterfinals in India. Lots of great things are being done. And sometimes, you've got to understand that the results of doing the right thing takes time. Sometimes you don't see the results overnight. We are not here for the short term, we are here for the long term. And the second question was, will you respond to that quickly? No. You are Secretary General. You respond. Free to air. He's my right hand.
Right. Specialist in free to air in house is Luxolo.
Oh, you want him to talk? Okay, talk, Luxolo.
Thank you, President. I think we're recognizing the role of FTAs in really making football popular. CAF, even in the upcoming Total Energies Africa of Nations, is putting a number of games on free-to-airs. We've got the Champions League starting on the 5th. It's going to be live, all the matches on
Start with this one. Talk about the African Football League and the exciting thing about free-to-air. Talk about
Well, the free-to-air, again, the access of African Football League on free-to-air. Most of the matches, even in here in Tanzania, is going to be live on free-to-air. Most parts of the continent, I know that in Morocco, in South Africa, in a number of countries, including Rwanda and others, it's going to be live on free-to-air. So free-to-air plays a very important part in Africa because it creates access to the people, and CAF has has ensured that football is accessible to all the Africans.
It's very important. We've got to market, we've got to popularize, we've got to create an increased amount of awareness of football throughout the continent. I remember as a young boy, I spent some time in Swaziland, but also in South Africa. It's called Eswatini now. And there was free Italian football, German football, English football, free. But when you watch it as a young boy, and the same applies for young girls who are watching it, you develop a sense of excitement, allegiance, interest, and you are a part of a market. So this free-to-air strategy and process on our side, critically important to create a greater awareness, involvement, exposure. and make football exciting, attractive, commercially viable and appealing. The lady there, oh, sorry, you tell the lady, because she wants you to tell her.
You have the last question, please, madam.
Thank you. My name is Fatma
Asante.
from BBC. I have
Is it BBC?
Swahili. Yeah.
British Broadcasting Corporation Swahili.
Yeah.
I hope they pay you in pounds. In the British pounds. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have like one question. Football is any other profession, like we other people do some profession. So I have like, since it is profession like any other profession, and the main aim is to improve footballers' life through payments, should we expect to see this kind of competition in women division? And do you have any future plans in improving in terms of those women who are participating in football? Thank you.
You know, the majority of people in Africa are women and girls. You cannot develop anything in Africa without a very particular and a peculiar focus on women. And we've done great things to develop women's football. I mean, I was talking earlier about there's about 50,000 schools that took part. Schools, equal number of boys and girls took part. It's not your number, this number, took part in the African Schools Championship. And these young girls at school who play football, they're the ones who are going to take Tanzania to the World Cup. And I can tell you what I saw in South Africa with those young girls. I tell you, that is God-given talent. But also, you know, we need the broadcasting companies and the sponsors to partner with us. You know, they give me money for men football, which is great. And I want as much money as possible because that money goes to development. But I equally want as much money as possible for women's football. But you must also understand that, you know, our capacity to extract as much money, finance for women's football goes hand in hand with how we market it and how we promote it. So I'm happy because I know in some countries on Sunday they play women's football, and it's becoming popular and growing. Okay, now there's nobody here who would feel very unhappy if we left without having answered that question. So you are all happy that we can leave without having answered your question. Because if you do feel that you'll be unhappy, we'll ask you. I see a hand there. Now, because you will be unhappy if we leave without answering your question, please proceed and ask your question.
Habari, naitwa Timastikilo kutokea Zanzibar leo. Raisi, ningependa kufahamu mchakato wa kuifanya African Football League ifanyike Tanzania, ufunguzi ulikuwa na ugumu au urahisi kwa kiasi gani? Lakini pia ningependa kufahamu matayarisho na mapokezi ambayo mmeyapata hapa, mmeyapokea kwa namna gani?
I'm going to tell, when I go back to South Africa, I'm going to tell all of those employees who come from my village, they must only talk Swahili with me. If they don't talk Swahili with me, I'm not going to answer them. Okay, now there's the last question, my brother.
What was the difficulties in the process of said that Tanzania will host the first game of African Football League?
What was the difficulty?
What the difficulty? Difficulties in the process.
Well, they've succeeded. So whatever the process was, to me, oh, I hear. Yeah, you see, that's why he's minister. That's why he's. We spent some time. We flew together. We flew from Dodoma, and I was telling the minister and Wallace, when we announced that Tanzania and Uganda and Kenya, I think Wallace didn't realize he shouted. He said, yo, yo, yo. And they taped him and a few others. But that was the expression of the excitement. And now, because it has to do with this question, in relation to the process, what difficulties do we have in identifying Tanzania? Now, three things. I've emphasized from day one that we have to spread the competitions to all zones and all parts of Africa. It's very important. We've got a duty to develop football throughout the African continent. And it hasn't been, the AFCON has not been in East Africa for the last 51 years. So already that brought some focus that, we kept talking about the need to do that. But other thing as well is, people from this area did excellent work. Baberi, Suleiman, the whole team, because you've got to convince and persuade, and you, Minister. And then what I liked as well is, the video that was played, to have the heads of state. I always tell heads of state, they phone me and something that, when I do this, the AFCON goes to this. It doesn't work that way. I do all sorts of things. They say, can you stop doing these funny things? Because it means nothing. So the point is, I'm part of a team. What is important to all of us is we were excited by the three countries coming together, by your proposition of the infrastructure you have. We've got a full stadium today. The history, the passionate history of football in this part of the world. And also our commitment to try and make sure that we develop talent in Tanzania. So I think the most important thing is you got it. It's been allocated to West Africa, East Africa. Of course, we still have work to do because the team still has to come. And that's partly why I wanted to see the head of state, just to make sure that deep level of commitment I was told she has, because it must translate into resources. We've got a world-class stadium, which is beautiful, and I'm excited by the commitment I saw from our president and the good work you are doing, Minister. Now I'm told that I should go there.
Correct, President.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask some of the. Okay, let's go there.
So my brother, please, if you can make sure that we quickly arrange a photo opportunity. First, the CAF President, you'll be joined by the football family and the Minister of Sport in a minute. So, President.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1, sasa hivi kinachoendelea ni rais wa shirikisho la soka barani Afrika pamoja na baadhi ya viongozi ambao wamefika hapa, lakini pia akionekana hapo waziri wa Wizara ya Utamaduni, Sanaa na Michezo, akionyesha kombe hilo ambalo bila shaka ndio atakabidhiwa mshindi wa michuano hii. Hilo ndio kombe lenyewe ambalo watakabidhiwa washindi wa michuano hii ya African Football League. Na ni mmoja kati ya makombe ambayo yana muonekano bora sana, kombe kubwa refu kama ambavyo unaweza kaliona hapo. Lakini rais wa shirikisho la soka barani Afrika, mtazamaji, CAF, Patrice Motsepe, ndiye huyo ambaye anamuongoza Arsene Wenger, kocha wa zamani, Arsene Wenger, kocha wa zamani wa klabu ya Arsenal. Lakini kushoto kwake ni Moise Katumbi, rais wa klabu ya Tout Puissant Englaba Mazembe ama TP Mazembe pale Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo. Mengi yamezungumzwa. Kulia kwake ni pembeni ya kombe pale kushoto ni waziri mwenye dhamana Daktari Damas Ndumbaro. Lakini kikubwa ambacho kimezungumzwa kuhusiana na michuano hii ama kuhusiana na michezo hii ya Africa Football League ni kwamba ni michuano ambayo inakusudia kuja kuongeza msuli wa kipesa kwa timu za bara la Afrika, lakini pia kwa timu ambazo zinakwenda kushiriki kwenye michuano hiyo. Kwa hiyo watu wengi ambao wamefika hapa na wale ambao pengine mlikuwa mnafuatilia mtakubaliana nami kwamba moja kati ya ajenda kubwa inazungumzwa ni kwamba michuano hii pia itakwenda kuzinufaisha timu za wanawake, lakini hofu ya watu wengi ilikuwa ni namna gani michuano ya ligi ya mabingwa barani Afrika pamoja na kombe la shirikisho haitapoteza kile ambacho ilikuwa nacho, kwa maana ya ubora ambao ilikuwa nao. Tumeambiwa itakwenda kuendelea kuongeza tija kwa udhamini mkubwa ambao unakwenda kuwekwa kwenye michuano hiyo. Mtazamaji wa TBC1, shughuli imemalizika iliyotuleta katika moja kumbi za mikutano hapa katika ukumbi wa Hyatt Regency jijini Dar es Salaam, na bila shaka baada ya hapa kinachofuata ni mtanange wa Simba dhidi ya Al Ahly kuanzia majira ya saa 12 kamili. Mimi ni Nazareth Upete kwa niaba ya wote ambao wamehusika akiwemo Hussein Shafi, Ahmed Salum na wengine wote, nikutakia tu utazamaji mwema wa TBC1.